Mr. CNDG, where is the 1,76,000 crores? I think it is time for some serious introspection.
एक कांग्रेस का नया तरीका है कि कैग पर हमला करके खुद को निर्दोष साबित करने की कोशिश कर, और लगता है कि कांग्रेस ने तय किया है कि संवैधानिक संस्था या जो भी भ्रष्टाचार कांग्रेस का उजागर करेगा उस पर हमला करना।
Institutions have realized now, and that awakening has come because the citizens groups, media, etc. are making them realize that they have a role to perform, and that mandate must be delivered.
A slanging match between the government and the opposition over the role of the CAG or the Comptroller and Auditor General. This after the controversial spectrum auction ended up as a mere flop show. For the government, it was the perfect opportunity to question the very basis of the infamous 2G loss figure of 1.76 lakh crore rupees. But the opposition has accused the government for celebrating this auction or even orchestrating its failure. Hello and welcome. You're with We Mean Business. I'm Shweta Rajpal-Kohli. On the show today, we're discussing the role of the CAG and its impact on policy making in the backdrop of the recent war of words. Let me introduce our guests on the show. I spoke earlier with Mr. TV Mohandas Pai, Chairman of Manipal Global Education Services. With me here in the Delhi studio, Mr. V Bhide, former Revenue Secretary, and Mr. Kaul, former CAG. Also joining us on a link, Mr. KTS Tulsi, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, Mr. Siddharth Nath Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, and Sanjay, co-founder of HamaraCongress.com and a well-known author, joins us from Mumbai. Many thanks all of you for being with us. Let me first play out my interaction with Mr. Mohandas Pai. Mr. Pai, the government says the CAG loss figures in the case of 2G are nothing but a mere myth. How would you respond to what the government has said?
Well, first of all, I think there's a need for constitutional restraint on the part of constitutional authorities. The CND should be restrained when it gives its reports, because the CNG reports are taken as gospel truth by the people of this country, and it creates problem. The government, on the other hand, too, should stop criticizing the constitutional authorities. They can express dismay, disappointment at what has happened, but to attack them and take them on frontally is not the correct thing to do. But what this auction has shown is that a fair, transparent process is the only way to find out the value of a scarce resource. In the sense, the Supreme Court has accelerated the process and create transparency which reduces bribing, which reduces crony capitalism, and to an extent is very good. It has also sent a message to the CNAG that giving numbers based upon projections without doing proper financial analysis, without putting in risk parameters is bad, that life is not an algorithm which goes on and on and on if you put in certain parameters. There is something called discounting. So I think the CNAG has to introspect into its own methods in future, and also exercise restraint in such matters which are deeply contested and hotly debated in India. I think overall what has happened is good for everybody, good for the government, good for society, good for the CNAG, and I hope it brings balance to the debate in our democracy.
Some within the government, Mr. Pai, have gone as far as to say that the CAG should apologize for that inflated 2G loss figure. Is that taking it a bit too far?
Well, I think, first of all, I take offense at the information minister, who was earlier an activist for the Congress party, coming out and openly abusing the CNAG. Is unacceptable behavior on the part of a government minister to criticize a constitutional authority who can't talk back to him in public. I think, we must have some decorum in public life, and it is unnecessary for the minister to do that. But having said that, the CNAG, which had become extremely activist, should reassess his role, should look at his processes, train his staff better, and make sure that they do not come out with such large numbers which are very unreal. For example, if the CNAG has only thought about who is going to finance this 1,76,000 crores, there isn't enough money in the system. And how will anybody earn a return on that money if that is true? So I think CNAG should ask hard questions. So I would say that the CNAG from now on should exercise restraint. It sends a very clear message out. Just be careful, play within the constitutional parameters, and do not exceed the boundaries that you set for yourself. So I think, the CNG should not apologize, but somewhere on the line, the CNG should announce an introspection of the methods, their analysis, their capabilities to make sure that such grossly exaggerated numbers do not surface again. So I think there is a need for the CNG to introspect very, very deeply to set right the system.
All right, sir. Then what about the role of the CAG going forward? Do you see the activism continuing? Mr. Vinod Rai has been hailed as a hero of sorts. Do we see that trend really continuing?
Well, I think, Vinod Rai is following the footpath of P.S. Seshan, who became a national hero, and there's great public adulation because he stood up against the corrupt government systems. And I think Vinod Rai stood up against corrupt government systems. People see him as a hero basically because he stood up against corruption.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.